facilities update. So we got through the facilities update and now we are on new business. There is no financial committee report, so we can move to principals reports.
Okay. We're winding down. So end of semester activities are upon us. We are doing the MOI, that's middle of year assessments. We're required by the state to do 3: BOI, MOI, and EOI. And so every month, the elementary students, K2, do the iStation reporting. And so they get a reading and a math score, and it's a percentile ranking of the students as to where they fit on a national scale. The 3 times a year, we have the interim assessments. And so we were thinking originally of doing it. Our window ends on January 10th, I believe, but that only gives us 3 days to do it after break. And I think kids won't be ready for it. It won't be a true indication. So I met with teachers this morning, and we will do it next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And so this is not something, it's something that we use internally. We're required to do it, but we use it internally to kind of assess where the students are at this time period.
And make changes if you need them.
If we do, what the problem, just for the new board members, I'll make this quick. When you look at these assessments, they are done in such a manner as that it is not truly indicative of what we're teaching here, because they will assess on standards and benchmarks. And depending on the order they put them in, it may not align to what we teach in that as a record of being taught. If we don't cover things that are on this test until later in the school year, we're going to see student performances probably be depressed. As such, what we generally want to see is a linear growth. See where you guys are. You that way. We want it positive, and so as many students as we can see grow in a linear fashion from beginning to end. That's what we're looking for. And so we track those trends, and I'll have all that data for you next month as we finish up. I probably send it out depending on how good it looks. Traditionally we have very good scores. And so it just means our kids are learning and they're doing what they're supposed to at grade level. Sometimes you'll see some fluctuation, some variances, kid rushes through a test, has a bad test day, whatever. Those things they're all determined to be significant, having a significant impact on it. At the end of the year, we have the culminating summative assessments. These are formative. So summative at the end, which is the summary of the learning throughout the school year. And those are the ones they post. And so that's how we'll get our ranking or our designation, right? Currently, we're still a spotlight school, which is the highest designation we can receive. And so we never missed that standard. We were a school of excellence last year until the U.S. Department of Ed took that designation away because the State Department did not include that in their application. And so they did not recognize it as something that they wanted. They want to give credit for, because the state didn't have the permission to.
It didn't check the right box.
That's correct. So it downgraded us from last year. It's still, if you look on the website, newmexicovistas.org, you can look, and if you go back to About Us, it'll show you past. I have all that if you ever want to see, for the new board members, if you want to see how we look at data a lot. Yeah. We keep apprised of that. So, but that's the next week coming up. I did hire a part-time instructor to do history at the middle school. We brought back Mrs. Nybert, who's been very well received and is helping us out. Coach, as I mentioned, returned from his leave of absence, and we're getting ready for finals. So finals will be the last week, and I believe it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, with Thursday being a makeup day. And then if you all are on or on campus or about, come on over because they have a fall fest, excuse me, winter festival, and they have a huge
The
salsa, the trades festival, and so the kids bring in merchandise and they basically barter and trade off and
Well, what's the
Entrepreneurial fairs
Yeah.
of sorts.
Mhm.
And when's that, Thursday?
Thursday. It'll be Thursday the 19th, and then they also have the salsa.
Terrific.
They have the
The stuff
salsa
they bring
contest.
home is just like,
Really?
it's just trading junk for junk.
But I want to see.
Do
the
they have to make
junk they
it?
made.
And you have, no, it's not they
Do
make.
you have to make it?
Some of them do make.
Some of them make a lot
They
of it.
just bring stuff from their room and trade it for other things.
Yeah,
I thought it was like a little entrepreneur.
So it's more of a
thing.
swap
Yeah.
meet.
Like a swap.
it's a swap meet.
And you say grade school and
Not just
just middle school.
but
We
there
have
is a,
bags of that crap.
if you're hungry, there's a
Oh, yeah.
great salsa contest that usually has one winner repeatedly, but
The same winner?
almost,
Oh, man.
but it's worth it, so.
Never seen their kitchens and like, no, it's not. Absolutely not.
That's all I have for reports. There's probably a ton of other things, but it's,
I have a question as a mother. Will they have to make up the days after the flood? Make up the days that they didn't go to school? Is that not a thing? Are makeup days not a thing anymore?
so let me explain the calendar.
Oh, we do have calendar.
You do have next year's calendar. Yeah, seeing if you guys coming in tomorrow, or are you just gonna hang out for another day?
No, well, we are back. The kids will be in school tomorrow.
Okay, so I don't know who's driving. If you come by, we got the calendar for next year finalized and wanted to just take.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
So within the calendar, the calendar rule says you have to have X amount of hours and X amount of days. So we've complied with both the days and the hours to excess. We have 188 days when we only need to have 180. We have 1,246, something like that, hours, and we only need 1,140. I can argue, or we could argue as a group, that we've surpassed what is minimally required. So I don't know, and no one said anything, and the district hasn't brought it up either. So if the district's not talking about it,
Okay, I was just curious.
yeah, and they went remote. I think to surpass, I think
Mhm.
survive that.
Okay.
Well, that was one day,
Yeah.
but we didn't do it, and then we came back.
Yeah.
So if it's not 3 days, it's going to be one day. And Yassine and I have spoken about this, and Yassine, correct me if I'm wrong, we may, if we are told we have to, we may absorb that with one of our community learning days in the spring.
Okay.
And that way,
Like potentially Good Friday or something like that.
so we don't
because-
have to go an extra day. I don't.
Right.
Our last day is a Friday, I believe, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And so we wouldn't have to go the following Monday. So we'll.
For the 3 kids who come on that Monday.
Right.
Right.
I'm just saying that's.
It'll be
it's
like fair day when I pick up, it's you and 2 other moms here.
That's when I have a lawn chair in the safety zone. It's just like,
Yeah.
the umbrella thing, but no, that's a good question. But right now,
Okay.
we've not heard anything. I believe, the district feels, I believe they get covered by the fact that they designated it remote learning
Okay.
under the circumstances. I don't know. But we've missed.
But we had more calendar days than the district
Yeah.
to begin with this year.
Wow. Okay.
They had more. They had days built in like professional development days, but we had more actual student learning days.
Gotcha, okay.
And so because I think they're unionized, and I'm not saying,
Yeah.
I'm not speaking for them, but my interpretation is because they're unionized, they're not required to, I think they've arbitrated, the contract, or negotiated, excuse me, the contract with the union to have so many professional development days. And so we're different from a non-union school, and in that way, we focus basically on the kids that are here. So, but yeah, that's kind of my
Okay.
2 cents on that.
I
But
was just gonna.
yeah, we've been waiting to hear because Olga can probably tell you if she's still on. We've had a hard time with everyone's had a hard time with the PED and all these different groups that are now putting their fingers in the pot or the pie, thinking they have a decision to be made. And so our calendar went through a lot of scrutiny this year, and it shouldn't have, because it met all the requirements up front. It was approved last May or April, excuse me. And then this whole new, well, the lawsuit that the districts filed against, not us, but the districts filed against the state, the PED, which still hasn't been determined. I think that's going to change a lot of things too. So the answer to your question is right. If tentatively nothing's going to change, we're going to keep the same calendar. If that lawsuit brings about new change because of rulings, it'll only help us, not hurt us,
Sure.
because they're going to reinstate the previous hours over days, and we've maximized that. We're, like I said, we're over 100 hours greater than what we need to be. I think it was 1236 and it's 1140. So whatever the math is, just 96 hours, whatever. 94, excuse me. So. Any other questions, newbies? How to do?
Oh, you know what I wanted to ask you? The $2,300 pumpkins?
Mhm.
We rate, I mean, how did we do that?
Why did we do that?
How did we do it? I mean,
I think that was just a typo in the
Oh.
minutes. I think they raised $23,000, but it just got put in as pumpkins.
Yeah, the
Twenty-three
PTO,
That's
thousand
the-
pumpkins. I think they meant they raised $23,000. Right?
oh,
from
it
the-
was pumpkin color run.
the pumpkin
Color
color.
run,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
we didn't
I didn't
pay.
catch that.
No, we paid for pumpkins. They
okay,
paid
well,
for
that's what I
pumpkins
was,
off.
okay. I was
And it
just
may have been
thinking-
23, I don't know, but I,
We raised
I know, I saw that and it made me. go,
Okay, so we need to put that in our minute adjustment. There is $20,000, but pumpkins has nothing to do with it, or,
that was a pumpkin color run.
okay,
That was what they. So the events of that week, all the donations that they received, I think totaled around $23,000. There may have been an expenditure.
so we'll say
for pumpkins. We
approximately.
bought pumpkins for the kids out of those funds. That's not us.
From the same
PTO.
people?
PTO, yeah, it's a gentleman has a farm here in
Yep.
town, I believe.
Make notes of that, yeah.
I know
Okay.
Trish was involved in that just because, I think she used Soraya as an interpreter, and so she was kind of familiar with what was going on. Soraya Mendez, her assistant, was the lead on that, so just because she knew the gentleman, and they've used him twice.
Should we formally correct that in our minutes?
I think that's funny, isn't it?
Leave it in?
It'll just give us acceptance.
You're like, what are you guys doing with all these
Let's wait
pumpkins?
till the auditors come in.
Exactly.
You raised them.
Yeah, we raised.
2,300 pumpkins, it's part of our fitness program.
23,000, excuse me.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's a lot of
it's a lot of pumpkin. Okay,
where are you at, Yassine?
So I can say that we had 0 audit findings.
Oh.
No,
It-
on the drive.
Oh,
She's always-
oh, sorry. Sorry. We're back. We're home. We just got home.
okay,
Right.
good.
So,
So,
do you want to talk about the audit, or you want me to talk about it?
I mean, I just will say that, it's been a hallmark of Joe's leadership, and Olga turning it, doing all the things that need to be done. Sidney itself has no audit findings. Joe and I got to participate on an audit call, as did Olga. I honestly will tell you all that it was kind of disappointing because the auditors were on the call trying to give the district, because we were part of the district's audit. So it wasn't just Sydney's audit. It was part of the district's overall audit. Clearly, like, they had to have district board members as well as other members from the district staff. The superintendent was not in attendance, but the chief, the COO was. And, the only question that was asked by any of the RISD board members was how many findings did Sidney have? And we had 0, which they were not listening to when the auditor said that the first time. So, you know, once again, I'm just proud of the work that Sidney does because we show up and we're professional and we do a fantastic job across all areas of running the school. So I'm going to leave it at that, Joe, unless you want to add anything else.
I'm good. I
How many-
could say a lot of things and I won't.
How many in the school's history have we had?
I
Have we
think
ever
we've
had a
had-
financial audit? I
we've
mean,
not-
financial finding?
We never had a direct one. We had a calculation error multiple years ago, I want to say about 10 or 15 years ago, where the PED sent a spreadsheet down for a certain type of calculation and the formula in there was wrong.
Was
So
incorrect.
everybody in the state got it. But they had to. I mean, that's just, and so we had one last year when I went to the charter school conference that I stayed at Kamaya where the conference was. And because I didn't get you guys to approve my opulent expenditure, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it was like $30 over.
Yeah,
And so that was, and there's three tiers of findings. And this was the least.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically don't do it again, write an internal control. So basically, Olga and I presented that anytime we're going to go to a conference, we're going to make sure that the board approves any travel. Because if you would have said, yeah, go stay there, it wouldn't have been a finding. But I've been doing this for 30 years and 25 with this school, another, 35 years.
well, I mean, I'll tell you that when we review charter school contracts every year, I don't know of any school, any charter school in the state that has, I mean, some will have anywhere from 4 to 6 financial audit findings a year. Some of them are repetitive and some of them are, I can't remember the terminology, but the most severe,
Mhm.
you know? I mean, so the fact that in the course of the school's existence that we've had
We've had
1.5,
yeah,
you know?
2 at the most. If
Yeah.
you want to, I mean,
That's, I mean,
that's over
that's
over 25 years.
That's
So,
remarkable.
awesome.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
I
remarkable.
remember when we first started, when we were telling kind of our story. I remember second or third year we were in business. APS had 186 pages of audit findings. And
Battery is running low. But we don't have any camera or anything. We lost camera.
I can still see you guys.
Joe, are we having Christmas program or anything like that? Like the
No.
kids singing songs or nothing?
not that I'm aware of. I know there's a field trip for Kinder and First are going to Bricktown to do kind of a hands-on experiential learning.
Oh,
type
we're not
thing.
gonna do Christmas carol.
Not that I'm aware of. The last one that was done was the Veterans Day.
Okay.
So a lot, I just teach, so a lot of that, they'll do some things in the spring, but not currently
Okay.
that I know of that's on my calendar. I can ask Tiffany in a good chance if I'm not accurate. So. Not that I'm.
So the other side now.
Right,
Oh,
well, good, so now she can see the food.
Oh, yeah, these are delicious.
Look, those are,
Oh, great. So I
Okay,
missed
good.
snacks.
Yassine's very familiar with the coconut curry
Yeah.
cashews.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
brought
they're the
back
best.
5 pounds with me, so come over.
Okay, good. I'm excited. All right. Is there any other business? Is there anyone attending that, any public? There's no public comment?
nobody online or anything.
Okay, then we
I move to adjourn.
thank you all so much. Sorry I couldn't be there tonight.
That's all right.
See you all soon.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Bye.
I'm waiting. I'm anticipating my sombrero. So
are they in Mexico?
I think so.
She's gone.
She's gone.
Now we can
History.
just spy on her.
Yeah. Turn it off before she starts leaving,
Right.
I thought
Have a
they're
good one.
like, man, can you imagine those kids having this up there for hours?
I'd be quiet.
Why don't we just have them on mute?
That's up-
Even if I'm at home in an office, I still put it on mute, cause my kids
Yeah.
don't need me until the minute I get on the phone.
Right.